measures designed to protect children, including her own children, because slowing down was inconvenient. I've been sitting on this bench for 40 years, and you think you've seen every kind of arrogance that walks through those doors. Then someone surprises you. Someone shows up to traffic court, with a $500 an hour attorney for a speeding ticket. Someone who thinks hiring expensive legal counsel for a minor violation somehow proves they're too important to be held accountable like everyone else. Let me tell you about the morning that Patricia Whitmore walked into my courtroom. 43 years old, married to hedge fund manager David Whitmore, lives in a $6 million home on the East Side, member of every exclusive club in Providence. And she was here because she got caught doing 65 in a school zone. Not 65 on a highway, 65 miles per hour in a 20-mile-per-hour school zone during dismissal time when children were crossing the street. The citation that came across my desk should have been straightforward. Patricia Ann Whitmore, excessive speed in school zone, reckless endangerment. But Patricia Whitmore didn't just pay the fine like most people would. She decided that a traffic ticket was beneath her dignity. So she did what wealthy people do when they think rules don't apply to them. She hired Daniel Berkowitz, one of Rhode Island's most expensive attorneys, the kind of lawyer who normally defends corporate executives in federal investigations, not soccer moms with speeding tickets. But what made this case disturbing was what Patricia did after receiving the citation. Phone records showed her calling the mayor's office demanding Officer Thompson be disciplined. Text messages to other wealthy parents, organizing a petition to change school zone speed limits because they were inconvenient for busy parents. Emails to the school board threatening to withdraw her children, and donations. This woman actually believed that her wealth entitled her to drive however she wanted through a school zone where other people's children were walking. The morning Patricia Whitmore walked into my courtroom, it was Thursday, 9 a.m. sharp. She came dressed like she was attending a charity gala. Designer dress, expensive jewelry, handbag that probably cost $5,000. Behind her walked Daniel Berkowitz with his $1,000 suit and his briefcase full of motions. What struck me immediately was Patricia's expression. Not embarrassed, not humble, just annoyed that she had to be here at all. She looked around my courtroom like she was evaluating a restaurant and finding it wanting. Patricia Ann Whitmore, excessive speed in school zone, reckless endangerment. Berkowitz stood immediately. Your Honor, Daniel Berkowitz appearing on behalf of Mrs. Whitmore. Before we proceed, I have several preliminary motions addressing procedural irregularities. Mr. Berkowitz, this is traffic court. We don't have preliminary motions for speeding tickets. Your Honor, given the serious nature of these charges and their potential impact on my client's driving record and insurance rates, I believe full procedural protections are appropriate. I looked at this expensive attorney arguing procedure for a speeding ticket like it was a murder trial. Mr. Berkowitz, your client was doing 65 in a school zone. That's not a complicated legal matter. Your Honor, the posted speed limit signage was inadequate and potentially non-compliant with state regulations. Additionally, the radar calibration records for Officer Thompson's equipment show, are you seriously arguing that your client didn't know she was in a school zone? Patricia leaned forward and whispered to her attorney. He nodded. Your Honor, my client maintains that environmental conditions and traffic flow patterns reasonably justified her speed, and that the enforcement action represents selective prosecution based on selective prosecution for a speeding ticket? Your Honor, Mrs. Whitmore has reason to believe that her prominent social position has made her a target for overzealous enforcement. I had to pause. This woman thought she was being targeted because she was wealthy, not cited because she was doing 65 in a school zone. Mr. Berkowitz, your client believes she's being treated more harshly because of her social position? Your Honor, statistical analysis of traffic enforcement patterns suggests most people who get speeding tickets just pay them. Your client hired you at $500 an hour to fight a $200 fine. Does that seem proportionate? Patricia whispered urgently to Berkowitz again. Your Honor, the issue for Mrs. Whitmore is not the financial penalty. The issue is principle. She does not believe she violated any traffic laws. What principle? That school zones don't apply to people who can afford expensive lawyers? Patricia stood up suddenly. Your Honor, if I may address the court directly? Mrs. Whitmore, that's what your very expensive attorney is for. Your Honor, I think there's been a fundamental misunderstanding. I'm a busy mother of 3 children. I volunteer on multiple charity boards. I have responsibilities that require efficient time management. Efficient time management, that's what she called doing 65 in a school zone. You were doing 65 in a 20 zone. What's efficient about that? Your Honor, the school zone speed limit is only in effect during certain hours. I believed I was outside those hours. You were cited at 3:17 p.m. The school zone is active from 2:30 to 3:30. You were right in the middle of dismissal time. I was running late picking up my daughter from piano. I wasn't paying attention to the exact time. You weren't paying attention to the time, or to the speed limit, or to the children crossing the street? Patricia's composure cracked. Your Honor, I don't appreciate the implication that I endangered anyone. I'm an excellent driver. I've been driving for 25 years without accidents. According to your record, this is your 4th speeding ticket in 3 years. Those were minor violations I paid immediately. This is different. Officer Thompson was rude and dismissive. He showed no respect for who I am or what I contribute to this community. There it was, the real issue. Not that she was speeding, that the officer didn't treat her like she was special. If you're watching this and you've ever dealt with someone who thinks money makes them special, subscribe to Judge Stories YT, because what Patricia says next will make your blood boil. Why should Officer Thompson care who you are? She looked at me like I'd asked why water was wet. Your Honor, my husband and I are significant contributors to this city. We donate to the Police Benevolent Fund. We support local schools. Officer Thompson should have recognized our name and shown appropriate courtesy. Appropriate courtesy? Like letting you go because your husband donates money? Your Honor, I'm simply saying that there's a way these situations are typically handled for people in our position. A warning would have been more appropriate. People in your position. What position is that? Your Honor, people who contribute meaningfully to the community. People whose time is valuable. And people whose time is less valuable should get tickets, but you shouldn't? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying context matters. Officer Thompson showed poor judgment. Let's talk about Officer Thompson's judgment. Bailiff, please ask Officer Thompson to come in. Officer Thompson entered, 38 years old, 12 years on the force. He stood at attention. Officer Thompson, tell the court what happened when you pulled Mrs. Whitmore over. Your Honor, I was monitoring traffic at Hope Elementary during dismissal. At 3:17 p.m., I clocked Mrs. Whitmore's Range Rover at 65 miles per hour in the active school zone. I pulled her over 2 blocks from the school. What was Mrs. Whitmore's reaction? Officer Thompson chose his words carefully. Your Honor, she was upset. When I explained why I'd pulled her over, she said this was ridiculous, that she was late, that I should let her go with a warning. What did you say? I explained that 65 in a 20 zone was extremely dangerous, especially with children present. She asked if I knew who she was. I said it didn't matter. That's when she told me her husband was a major donor to the Police Benevolent Fund and that I was making a mistake. Patricia jumped up. That's not what I said. I simply mentioned that my family supports law enforcement. Officer Thompson is twisting my words. Mrs. Whitmore, sit down. Officer Thompson, did you record the stop? Yes, Your Honor. Body camera. Play it. The monitor displayed Officer Thompson's body camera footage. Him approaching the Range Rover. The window coming down. Patricia's face appearing. Ma'am, do you know why I pulled you over? Patricia's voice, annoyed. No. And I'm late for my daughter's piano lesson. Can we make this quick? Ma'am, you were traveling 65 in an active school zone. That's ridiculous. I was barely over the limit. Ma'am, the limit in a school zone is 20. You were doing 65. Pause. Patricia's expression changed to calculation. Officer, do you know who I am? Ma'am, it doesn't matter. I'm Patricia Whitmore. My husband is David Whitmore. We're major donors to the Police Benevolent Fund. We contribute significantly to this city. I think a warning would be more appropriate. Ma'am, I'm going to need your license and registration. Are you serious? Do you have any idea how much my husband donates? Do you know what kind of connections we have? I want your badge number. I want your supervisor's name. This is harassment. The video continued with Patricia becoming increasingly hostile while Officer Thompson remained professional. When it ended, the courtroom was silent. Patricia's face was bright red. Mrs. Whitmore, that's not what you said? She couldn't meet my eyes. Your Honor, I was upset. I was late. I didn't mean. You threatened Officer Thompson's job because he was doing his job. You tried to use your husband's donations as leverage, and then you lied about it in my courtroom. Berkowitz stood quickly. Your Honor, my client was under stress during the stop. Her statements don't reflect. Mr. Berkowitz, your client just committed perjury. She said. Officer Thompson twisted her words. The video shows she said exactly what he testified to. Patricia was crying now. Your Honor, I'm sorry. I was embarrassed. I've never been pulled over like that. I didn't know what to say. So you lied? I didn't mean to lie. I just remembered it differently. That video was recorded 3 weeks ago. You remembered it wrong in 3 weeks? I looked directly at Patricia. Mrs. Whitmore, do you have children? Yes, Your Honor. 3. Do they attend Hope Elementary? Yes, my youngest 2 do. So you were doing 65 in a school zone where your own children go to school? She nodded, crying harder. Imagine another parent doing 65 and hitting one of your children. Would you want that parent to get a warning because they donate money? Or would you want them held accountable? I'd want them held accountable, she whispered. Then why should you be different? Silence. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Do you believe wealthy people should be treated differently when they break the law? Patricia looked at her lawyer. He shook his head. Your Honor, I don't think I'm better than anyone. I just thought, because we contribute so much, maybe there would be some consideration. Consideration for endangering children? No, I don't know what I thought. I'm sorry. But I wasn't done. Mrs. Whitmore, did you call the mayor's office after receiving this citation? She glanced at Berkowitz. Your Honor, I may have called to express concerns about traffic enforcement. Did you demand that Officer Thompson be disciplined? I wanted to file a complaint about how I was treated. Did you also email the school board demanding they change school zone speed limits? Your Honor, I sent an email suggesting the hours might be unnecessarily restrictive. You organized other parents.
This is the moment the courtroom temperature drops. When a judge reaches beyond punishment and into consequences that follow you home, everything changes.
To petition against school zone safety measures because they were inconvenient for you? Patricia was crying harder. Berkowitz stood. Your Honor, my client exercised her First Amendment right. Mr. Berkowitz, your client organized a campaign to eliminate safety measures designed to protect children, including her own children, because slowing down was inconvenient. That's not First Amendment exercise. That's endangering children on an institutional level. I pulled out documents. Did you also threaten to withdraw your children from Hope Elementary and stop your donations? She couldn't answer. Did you tell the school board president that if they didn't support changing the limits, you would ensure other wealthy parents withdrew support? Patricia stood, desperate. Your Honor, I was upset. I was embarrassed. I said things I didn't mean. I would never actually endanger children. But you did endanger children. You did 65 in a school zone, and instead of accepting responsibility, you tried to use your wealth to avoid consequences and change the rules. That's when I made the decision that changed everything. Bailiff, get me the Rhode Island Department of Children, Youth, and Families on the phone. I want to speak with their director immediately. Patricia's face went white. Your Honor, what? Why? Berkowitz was on his feet. Your Honor, I object. That's completely inappropriate. My client's parenting has nothing to do with. Mr. Berkowitz, your client drove 65 through a school zone where her own children attend. She then tried to bully officials into eliminating safety measures that protect those same children. That raises serious questions about her judgment as a parent. Your Honor, you can't do this. You can't call DCYF over a speeding ticket. I'm not calling about a speeding ticket. I'm calling about a pattern of behavior that suggests Patricia Whitmore may not prioritize her children's safety. Patricia was sobbing. Your Honor, please, my children. You can't take my children. I'm not taking your children. I'm asking DCYF to evaluate whether a parent who endangers children and then tries to eliminate school safety measures has her children's best interests at heart. Like this video right now if you think Patricia Whitmore needs this wake-up call. Within 5 minutes, I had Director Michelle Santos from DCYF on speakerphone. Director Santos, this is Judge Frank Caprio. I have a defendant who was cited for doing 65 in a school zone where her own children attend. After receiving the citation, she contacted school officials demanding they change safety measures, organized other parents to petition against speed limits, and threatened to withdraw her children and donations if they didn't comply. I believe this raises questions about her judgment as a parent. Patricia was shaking. Berkowitz was writing frantically. Judge Caprio, that is concerning. Operating a vehicle at that speed near children and then attempting to eliminate safety measures could indicate poor judgment regarding child welfare. I'm not suggesting removal of children, but I think an evaluation of the home situation might be warranted. I agree, Judge. We'll open a file and assign a caseworker. Mrs. Whitmore will be contacted within 48 hours. Thank you, Director Santos. The call ended. Patricia looked like she might faint. Berkowitz was livid. Your Honor, this is outrageous. You cannot involve child services over a traffic violation. This is abuse of judicial authority. Mr. Berkowitz, I have a responsibility when I see evidence that suggests a parent may be making dangerous decisions regarding their children's welfare. Patricia found her voice. Your Honor, please, I made mistakes. I was stupid and selfish and wrong. But I love my children. I would never hurt them. You drove 65 through a school zone where they walk every day. You tried to eliminate speed limits that protect them. How is that not hurting them? I wasn't thinking. I was just thinking about my own convenience. I'm sorry. Who else did you endanger? How many other parents' children were crossing that street when you were doing 65? She couldn't answer. She was crying too hard. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to accept full responsibility. You're going to pay the maximum fine. You're going to attend traffic safety school. And you're going to write a public letter to Hope Elementary, apologizing to every parent whose children you endangered. Yes, Your Honor, anything. But that's not all. I'm also going to make a second phone call. Bailiff, get me the Rhode Island Bar Association Ethics Committee. Berkowitz's face went pale. Your Honor, what? Mr. Berkowitz, you charged Mrs. Whitmore how much to defend a speeding ticket. He didn't answer. Mrs. Whitmore, how much have you paid Mr. Berkowitz? Patricia wiped her eyes. So far, $12,000. $12,000 for a speeding ticket? Berkowitz tried to defend himself. Your Honor, complex traffic cases require thorough investigation, expert analysis. This wasn't a complex traffic case. This was a woman doing 65 in a school zone. You charged her $12,000 to argue that school zone speed limits don't apply to wealthy people. That's not legal defense. That's taking advantage of a client's arrogance. Within minutes, I had the Bar Association ethics director on the phone. This is Judge Caprio. I have an attorney who charged $12,000 to defend a simple speeding ticket by arguing that his wealthy client deserves special treatment. I believe this raises questions about excessive fees and encouraging frivolous litigation. The ethics director asked for details. I provided them. Berkowitz looked ready to throw up. Judge, we'll open an investigation. If he charged $12,000 for what should have been a $200 fine paid online, that's potentially exploitative. Berkowitz finally lost composure. Your Honor, I provided vigorous representation. I'm entitled to charge market rates. You charge market rates for a federal investigation to defend someone doing 65 in a school zone. You took advantage of your client's wealth and arrogance to run up a massive bill. That's exploitation. Subscribe to Judge Stories YT because what happens next proves justice applies to expensive lawyers too. I turned back to Patricia. Here's your sentence. $500 fine maximum by law. License suspended 90 days. Defensive driving school. Public letters of apology to Hope Elementary parents, Officer Thompson, and the school board. Yes, Your Honor. You'll also perform 100 hours of community service as a crossing guard at Hope Elementary, where you'll spend every morning and afternoon helping children cross safely at the speed limits you tried to eliminate. Patricia's mouth fell open. A crossing guard? Yes. You'll wear the vest, hold the sign, and ensure other parents slow down. Maybe then you'll understand why those speed limits exist. Your Honor, I have responsibilities. You told me you're a stay-at-home mother who volunteers on charity boards. You can volunteer as a crossing guard instead. But people will see me. Everyone will know. Good. Maybe other wealthy parents who think speed limits don't apply to them will see you and think twice. Berkowitz tried one last time. Your Honor, this sentence is punitive and humiliating. This sentence is educational. Mrs. Whitmore will learn what it feels like to be responsible for children's safety, to watch cars going too fast and pray they slow down. Patricia was crying, but different now, like maybe she was finally understanding. Do you understand your sentence? Yes, Your Honor. And do you understand why? She nodded, unable to speak. Say it. Tell me why. Patricia took a shaky breath. Because I endangered children. Because I tried to use my money to avoid responsibility. Because I thought I was special, but I'm not. The speed limits apply to me just like everyone else. That's right. You're not special. Your money doesn't make you special. Your donations don't make you special. The only thing that makes someone special is how they treat other people. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm truly sorry. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to every parent whose child was in that school zone. Apologize to your own children for teaching them that rules don't apply to people with money. Patricia left that courtroom a different person. The arrogance was gone. The entitlement was shattered. Berkowitz tried to leave quickly, but I stopped him. Mr. Berkowitz, you're going to refund Mrs. Whitmore $11,000. You can keep $1,000 for the court appearance, but the other $11,000 was exploitation. Your Honor, I can't. You will. Or the Bar Association investigation will include why I'm concerned about your billing practices. Your choice. He left without another word. 3 weeks later, I got a letter from Patricia Whitmore. Handwritten. Dear Judge Caprio, I'm writing from my second week as a crossing guard at Hope Elementary. Every morning and afternoon, I stand in that school zone and watch cars approach. Some slow down immediately. Some speed up like they're annoyed. Every time I see a car going too fast, I think about how I could have killed someone's child. How I nearly killed my own children by teaching them that money makes you exempt from rules. Yesterday, a Range Rover came through going at least 40. I held up my stop sign and the driver asked if I knew who she was. And I said, "It doesn't matter who you are. There are children here. Slow down." She looked at me like I was nobody to tell her what to do. And I realized I was looking at myself from a month ago. That's who I was. Thank you for showing me what I'd become. Thank you for caring enough to humiliate me. Because I needed that humiliation to see clearly. 6 months later, I saw Patricia at a city council meeting supporting increased funding for school zone safety measures. When she saw me, she approached. Judge Caprio, after my service ended, I volunteered to continue. I'm out there every morning and afternoon now. Not because I have to, but because I want to. That's good to hear. I also joined the school safety committee. We're working on a program to educate parents, and I'm using my own money to fund it, not as a donation to show off, but because it's the right thing to do. And Mr. Berkowitz? He refunded the money, all $11,000. The Bar Association suspended him for 3 months for exploitative billing. Patricia smiled sadly. You changed my life. Not with the fine or suspension. You changed my life by making me be a crossing guard, by making me stand in that school zone every day and watch other parents do exactly what I did, by making me see myself through other people's eyes. That was the point. I know, and thank you. The DCYF evaluation concluded Patricia's home was safe, but recommended parenting classes focused on modeling appropriate behavior. Patricia completed them all. Her children were initially embarrassed that their mother was a crossing guard, but then they started saying hello each morning, started bringing her coffee when it was cold, started telling their friends, "That's my mom. She helps keep us safe." That's when she knew the humiliation had been worth it. My father always told me, Frank, sometimes the best judgment isn't in the book, it's in your heart. The law can punish people, but only wisdom can change them. Patricia Whitmore learned that wealth without wisdom is just arrogance with a bank account. That hiring expensive lawyers to fight minor tickets doesn't make you smart. That the respect you think you deserve must be earned through character, not purchased through donations. And Daniel Berkowitz learned that being a good lawyer means giving clients the advice they need, not the defense their arrogance wants. I'm Frank Caprio. Remember, in my courtroom, your bank account doesn't matter. What matters is whether you understand that traffic lights, school zones, and the safety of children apply to everyone equally. No amount of money changes that. Thanks for listening, and God bless.